Are you bitter at this point?
Very bitter.
Of course.
Very bitter.
Tell us how you feel.
Well, we just want to get out of here. We wanted to get out of here for 2 years, and they just keep finding other things, reasons for us staying here, and then the political ballgame is what it's turned out to be.
Love Canal is a neighborhood within Niagara Falls, New York that was thrown into the spotlight in 1978 when word of toxic waste pollution was brought to the federal government's attention. The events taking place at Love Canal had deep social and environmental impacts that have helped shape how we handle environmental disasters today. Love Canal was originally the site of a toxic waste dumping ground. Starting in 1920, the area was used as a chemical and municipal disposal site. Several chemical companies, including Hooker Chemical Company, were involved in the disposal of unknown toxins into the canal for approximately 30 years. After this time period, the site was covered with dirt, and home building began directly on top of the landfill. In the early 1970s, residents began complaining of chemicals seeping into their houses and yards, as well as foul smells coming from these chemicals. Concern became rampant, and it became apparent that these chemicals, originating from the old landfill, were causing serious health risks to hundreds of families living in the Love Canal neighborhood.
President Carter declared a state of emergency today in the Love Canal area of New York's Niagara Falls, where toxic chemicals were discovered oozing from the ground.
After President Carter declared a state of emergency, scientists working for the federal government began collecting data about the toxic chemicals in the families living in Love Canal. The Environmental Protection Agency identified more than 80 potentially dangerous chemical compounds in the landfill, and of those, 11 were known or suspected of causing cancer in laboratory animals. Other research pointed out that there was a statistically significant elevated risk of low birth weights, preterm births, small sizes for gestational age, and congenital malformations. Evacuating families was another area of conflict the residents of Love Canal and the federal government disagreed upon. After years of complaining, families thought they would finally be relocated, but that was not the case for many. Priority was given to families with children under 2 years old and families with pregnant women. The decision to only pay to relocate 235 families when there were hundreds of other families in Love Canal caused backlash with many residents. Today, although the cleanup of Love Canal is complete, many families still live in the neighborhood, their homes never gaining value. The ecological integrity of the air, groundwater, and soil around Love Canal had been so contaminated that the cleanup itself was complex and lasted more than 10 years. In December of 1980, Congress enacted the Comprehensive Environmental Response Compensation and Liability Act. This act is also known as Superfund and aids in environmental cleanups. Superfund helped in the cleanup of Love Canal by removing all contaminated soil, decontaminating the area's storm sewers, constructing trench drains to collect any leftover toxic waste, and dredging 3,000 feet of creek bed contaminated from rainwater runoff. After extensive cleanup by the Environmental Protection Agency and the state of New York, Love Canal was deleted from the EPA's National Priorities list of Superfund sites in 2004. Because of this incident, environmental policy has changed for the better. The enactment of Superfund has provided help to other environmentally distressed areas, and the Act has strict rules in place so that an issue as big as Love Canal never happens again.